The Autoimmune Connection is a web series dedicated to all things autoimmune, with hosts Christina Findell of A Clean Plate, Emma King of The Bacon Mum, Kate J. of Healing Family Eats, and Rory Linehan of The Paleo PI, interviewing new guests every episode. We're bringing patients, practitioners, friends, and family together to connect the dots between diet, lifestyle, and autoimmune disease.
Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Autoimmune Connection. I'm your host this week, Emma King of The Bacon Mum. And this week we're going to be discussing a somewhat controversial topic, as it would seem currently, why 100% AIP is so important. And with me I have two guests, Angie Alt and Erin. Angie Alt is a health coach, author of the Alternative Autoimmune Cookbook, and AIP blogger over at Autoimmune Paleo. And Erin is an AIP blogger at Enjoying This Journey and a creator of the hashtag ToTesAIP. Welcome, ladies. Yay!
Hi.
Yay,
Thanks for having us.
It's wonderful to have you with me this week. So you've both spoken on the Autoimmune Connection before, but for those who haven't met you, could you share a brief 1 to 2 minute introduction of who you are, different from what I just shared, of who you are and what brought you to AIP?
My name is Angie Alt. I blog at Autoimmune Paleo with Mickey Truscott. I'm the author of the Alternative Autoimmune Cookbook, and I'm also a health coach. I came to AIP about 3 years ago. I have celiac disease, endometriosis, and lichen sclerosis. It's been really life-changing for me. I'm glad I did it.
Erin?
I'm Erin, and I blog over at enjoyingthisjourney.com, and I came to the AIP because of psoriasis, psoriatic arthritis, and Raynaud's disease. And like Angie, I'm super glad I did it, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Fantastic. I wouldn't change a thing either. So, Angie, in paleo circles, there is a phrase, the 80-20 rule, in relation to eating the paleo diet. Can you explain to our listeners who may not know what that is, what it is, please?
So the 80-20 rule refers to folks who maintain a strict paleo diet, being no grains, no legumes, and no dairy, roughly 80% of the time, and eat a more standard American or standard Western diet the other 20% of the time. So that might look like Monday through Friday, they're, totally on the paleo bandwagon, and on the weekends, maybe they have some beers or some black bean dip or some nacho cheese, something like that. They're playing around a little bit more on the weekend. Some folks also follow another version of this called 90-10. So 90-10 might be more like Monday through Saturday, they're on top of it, and maybe on Sunday they're eating Reese's peanut butter cups or something.
You're making me hungry. Hungry or drooling. Reese's cup and beer. Oh, the days.
Oh, the days.
Oh, the days. So now, while paleo has and does help reverse certain health conditions, the paleo diet is often used by people who want to improve their sporting performance and don't necessarily have underlying health issues that they're aware of, right? So, and that requires 100% dedication. Would you agree to that statement, Erin?
Yeah, I think if you have an autoimmune disease, yeah, you're definitely going to have to do some changes and have more tweaks to your protocol. I think that, and even beyond that, some people need more tweaks than just the AIP because it's all individual. So I think that 80-20 does not apply to AIP, unfortunately. Right. I mean, we wish sometimes, we have those days where, oh gosh, a beer, that would be so fantastic right now. But in the reality of things, it's not 100% AIP. It's not following the elimination diet. So,
Angie, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, during elimination phase, you really have to kind of follow things 100%, to the T. Our goals are different than the goals of most folks who are adopting paleo. Some people adopt a paleo template as a way to heal some chronic illness conditions, and it works for some folks. But in general, a lot of paleo folks are looking for performance, increases in their athletic performance. People on the autoimmune protocol have a totally different agenda. We're trying to heal, and in a lot of cases, basically save our lives. it's, we just have a whole other thing in mind. And by the way, just to clear it up for everybody, strict elimination phase of AIP means all the typical paleo foods are out, so no grains, no legumes, no dairy. On top of that, we eliminate eggs, nuts and seeds, which include chocolate and coffee, and all the nightshade vegetables, which are eggplants, tomatoes, hot and sweet peppers, and white potatoes, and any spices derived from them. So that can seem really overwhelming, but it usually achieves pretty impressive results for people.
And I know I tried 80-20 paleo. I even tried 100% paleo, and I saw glimmers of my health returning, but it clearly wasn't enough for me. And, which is when I kind of looked further and found the autoimmune protocol. Erin, were you paleo before you went AIP?
I actually was primal, if you want to put a label on it, which is, I think, paleo plus dairy, essentially. And that was how I started my diet change and lifestyle change, was going primal. But then my son was reacting to the cheese, the obnoxious amount of cheese that I would eat, and it was so good. He was reacting to it when I was nursing him, so I cut it out. So then I went paleo, and then really pretty quickly after that I found the AIP. So ever since then I pretty much stuck with it.
And so you never went AIP 80-20?
No, because that's not AIP.
Right.
AIP is 100%. So
I have to admit that I didn't see any health benefits until I was 100% AIP. So full elimination diet, no reintroductions, no cheats, no nothing for 3 months. And I actually enjoyed feeling so good that I didn't get enough remission until about 9 months to consider reintroductions. It was about 9 months, right, Angie?
Yep.
See, Angie was my health coach. I was somebody that I needed guidance through. I was paleo, but I felt completely overwhelmed that I didn't know how I could take all these additional pieces out. That seemed to crush me, to kind of, it became bigger than me. I didn't think I could do it. Now, I've just passed my 1 year AIP paleoversary, and, I've done reintroductions, sometimes successful, sometimes not. But I was 100% AIP for 9 months. Erin, how long did it take you before you could put the reintroductions back?
Well, I kind of went about reintroductions the wrong way, if I'm going to be honest. I waited 6 whole months. I thought that was pretty good. I started feeling better. I didn't have any new lesions of psoriasis popping up. I still had lingering scalp psoriasis, but I felt pretty good. And then I went straight for the things that I shouldn't have gone for, like the nuts and the coffee and the chocolate and things that kind of should have been further down the list for me. And so then I took a step back and kept going with the elimination diet a little bit longer. Since then, I've been able to successfully reintroduce some like fruit-based spices like vanilla and pepper, little things like that, and chocolate if I do it safely, in safe amounts. So yeah, I waited six months before I tried, and then I realized it wasn't working, because that's actually how I got the 2 other diagnoses of the psoriatic arthritis and the Raynaud's disease, is because I had a flare because of reintroducing nuts. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right. Angie, what about you?
So, my primary autoimmune is celiac disease. So, my celiac disease was undiagnosed for approximately 11 years. So, you can imagine my small intestine needed a lot of healing. So I was really, really strictly elimination phase for probably about 6 months, and then I kind of dabbled a little bit. I didn't quite understand how to do the reintroduction process, so I kind of dabbled a little bit. Like I had a little bit of chocolate and maybe like a glass of wine, but I didn't really understand quite how to do it. And then I got more clear on it, and at about a year mark, about 12 months, I started to, like, in earnest, begin to appropriately try to do the reintroductions.
Yeah. So, I know from my own health coaching clients and that many people struggle with the concept. I did myself, of being 100% AIP, and they feel stressed and overwhelmed that they can't apply that 80-20 rule. So, I can do this for 5 days of the week, but at the weekends when I hang out socially with my buddies, it's okay for me to have a beer. And then they don't see the benefits of AIP, and then they're regressing in some ways. Angie, as a health coach, do you see that?
Yeah, definitely. I coach individuals like Emma, and I also coach folks in groups. At this point, I've led hundreds of people from the standard American diet through to the full elimination phase of autoimmune protocol. So I've seen this many, many, many times when people are having a hard time sticking to the elimination phase, and it feels really overwhelming to them. I kind of try to do three things. So first of all, I try to show people how they can adopt the full elimination phase in the full elimination phase in a phased approach in stages, rather than just jumping into the whole elimination cold turkey. For some that works, and that's okay. But a lot of folks aren't ready for that. A lot of folks find that really overwhelming, and I find that if they get a firm foundation, slowly eliminating things a bit at a time, they're much more able to maintain elimination phase. The other thing, the second thing I try to do is explore why they're having so much trouble sticking to elimination phase. There can be a lot of emotional stuff underlying our associations to food and the reasons we are struggling or not struggling to let go of certain foods. And the third thing that I try to do is just encourage balance, encourage looking beyond the food and trying to find the right method for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's so very important. I think that's probably the piece of the puzzle I'm still dealing with. It's the balance of managing the stress and balance in your life. Not exercising too much for me, or not letting the pressures of everyday life getting you down. So that's really important. So here at the Autoimmune Connection, Christina, Kate, Rory, and myself try each week to reinforce that, 100% AIP, that's the full elimination, is not for life, right? So that is necessary to heal your leaky gut, and once the symptoms of the AI disease are starting to improve or go into remission, then people should start to consider those reintroductions. When did you, we've discussed when you both started your reintroductions, but do you often see people trying to do that too fast, like say Erin did? Angie?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's easy. It's easy to go there, Basically, everybody needs a minimum of 30 days in full elimination phase. That's kind of the rule of thumb, minimum 30 days. You need enough time for your immune system to calm down, for inflammation to subside. Everybody's going to need at least 30 days. The ideal would probably be at least 3 to 4 months. But I find that lots and lots of people need 6 months, or even in some cases up to a year. It depends on your AI disease, how severe it was, how much damage has been left behind, how long you went in the disease. That obviously there's going to be more damage to heal. Diseases of the skin, for instance, can take a very long time, like Erin found. The healing is literally happening from the inside out. Our skin is a low priority organ for our bodies, so it's some of the last healing to occur. So, you just have to pay attention to your body's timeline and try to honor it.
And Erin, would you agree that everyone's an individual? I mean, obviously everyone's got a different body, they've got different metabolism, they've got different guts, they've got different diseases, right? So what works for me and what works for Angie and what works for you is going to be different on an individual basis.
Yeah, I think that's the key for a lot of people, that they might not quite understand initially. They're full of hope, and I don't blame them, because you want to heal, you want to feel better. But my process is not going to be the same as yours. So, nuts make me go crazy. They make my toes swell up, my skin starts flaring. Might not be the same for someone else who has psoriasis. So, everyone is individual. Every body is different. Not everybody, but every body is different.
Right. So Angie, in support of those who are in the trenches, and it does feel like in the trenches of 100% AIP elimination phase. You recently designed a T-shirt, and I have one here. Oops, where are we going?
Other way.
Here we go. And you designed this T-shirt as a motivational piece, right? Could you explain the reason behind the T-shirt?
Yeah, sure. So, it was meant to be a few things. A little bit tongue-in-cheek, poking fun at our paleo friends, all our paleo pals out there who are, doing paleo at 80% of the time, 20% of the time, partying like rock stars. It was meant to be a little bit of a joke, like, look at us AIPers, we're so much stronger than you. Just to joke with them a little bit. I chose the term wussy because, like, in 2015, who is insulting other people with the word wussy? Nobody. I mean, it's just totally meant to be a joke, a little bit, having fun with each other. And then the other side of it was to be a little bit motivational and a little bit, cheerleading to the folks who are out there really in the thick of it right now, people who are in full elimination phase, and they haven't seen symptoms of their disease subsiding yet. They're not ready for reintroductions, and they're trying to basically swim against stream in our culture right now. Our culture wants you to do exactly the opposite of what we do, healing ourselves with AIP, and I wanted people to feel empowered, and to feel that they belong to a group of other warriors. Mickey calls us pioneers. They belong to another group of pioneers, that are doing this in a whole new way.
Yeah, and that's totally the way I saw it. I mean, I have one, so obviously, I believe in its message, and I wear it with pride. That I have done this. I've been 100% AIP. And I've healed, myself and also my daughter. Being AIP. Well, actually, Angie, we need kid-sized ones.
Yes, we do. We need some kid-sized ones. Maybe we need like onesies.
That would be awesome. But I'm not having another child, so yeah.
I think I'm done too. I think that'd be cute, though.
Right. So, Erin, you're the creator of the hashtag.
There it is.
Totes AIP. And, I can see on Instagram, if you just look at that hashtag, there's, just over 1,200 posts tagged with this hashtag. So it's clearly resonating with people. Can you explain why you created it and why you think it's growing so fast in popularity? I mean, I tag my stuff with it all the time.
Okay, first of all, I created it because I'm a big nerd. I do that stuff. If you guys look at my Instagram, I do that stuff quite a bit, and I've created like always the bone broth and little things like that just because I like to have fun. And Instagram for me is kind of that like fun playground outlet for me. It's a way for me to have fun, post my pictures of food, the kids running amok, all that stuff. So the Totes AIP was a way for me to kind of clarify that the foods or meals that I was posting on Instagram were 100% totally elimination stage AIP, not reintroductions, not AIP plus eggs, because that gets confusing. If you look at the hashtags and you see, just the hashtag autoimmune protocol, there are actually some pictures that you'll find if you dig around that include, people's reintroductions, and that's fantastic. I'm not trying to, shut down anyone's successful reintroductions. But for me, it was my little way of having that clarification. And then for it to catch on, I kind of was taken aback at first. Like, I wasn't expecting
cultural force over here.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't expecting that. But then for it to grow to be where it's reached that many actual, hashtags, it's pretty mind-blowing and humbling at the same time. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, as I said, I use it a lot, when I'm posting recipes, as you said, that are 100% compliant. And, as a blogger, I want to inspire people that their food can look good, it can taste good. Yeah. And even though this isn't a life sentence, the food that you eat on it, I eat so much better on AIP than I ever did when I was on the standard American diet, English diet, New Zealand diet. I've traveled around, any of these places, I eat so much better now, and so does my family. And so, I use that hashtag, to salute. That's the way I use it. Angie, I've seen a few posts from you with Totes AIP, and obviously, you created a storm with this going on that. But it's a great testament to those people who are, walking this walk.
Yeah, well, and the other side of this coin is that it's never meant to be a commentary on anybody else's journey. I completely understand from the viewpoint of being a coach that not everyone is able and ready to jump right into elimination phase and maintain it until they reach their healing goals. Sometimes it takes a couple starts and restarts, and attempts and reattempts. And that's okay. The slogan 80-20 is for wussies, and the hashtag Totes AIP, they're definitely not commentaries on any one person's journey and their ability to reach their healing goals, whatever way they try to reach them. If it's through the autoimmune protocol, if it's through other healing diets, whatever their choices are, medication, whatever it is, it was just meant to be fun. I think one of the things that we need more of in the community, because we're doing something so hard and so against the mainstream to manage our autoimmune diseases, is some laughter and some ways to have fun with each other and have fun with the fact that we're doing this, and not take ourselves so seriously that we suck all of the new joy and health we have right out.
Right, and that kind of speaks to the balance too. I mean, if there's, I know I react to drama. I shy away from drama now. I used to be in the middle of it, and I'm like, whoa, no, see ya, I'm gone. And I think that's really important to know what you feel is toxic. So the more that you can have laughter and connection and community and collaboration and interactivity, the more inspired you will be. And that's what I think so amazing about the number of blogs that are now out there that are supporting and providing Totes AIP recipes. So I want to put out to you guys how proud I am to speak with you today, because it is, it was fairly controversial when the t-shirt went out, and I set up this session responding, to some of the backlash, I will call it that, or feedback, probably a better word, in relation to the t-shirt. And it was, I love to hear, and I know the intention that it came from. So thank you both for joining me today. As always, love connecting with you both, and look forward to perhaps a less controversial topic in our next episode.
Hopefully.
So from me to you, thank you, and have a great day.
Thanks for having us, Emma.
My pleasure. Bye.
Bye.